welcome to Public Works. It's another beautiful day in paradise. It is June 11th, and I'm with my colleagues. So first up is Kyle from the Water Department. Welcome, Kyle. Talk to us.
Thank you, Council. The Water Department staff is here to request the property located at 601 West Snyder Avenue be sold to the highest bidder for Habitat to Humanity at $40,000. A little history: we brought this property before council to sale due to the unusability of the property. It was originally acquired to punch a well in. It didn't work out, so now we're trying to liquidate the property to invest into another well site in the future. Minimum value was set at $40,000. We sent it out to bid per state code. We've got one bid back at $40,000 for Habitat Humanity, and I'm here to request council and that they approve that sale for $40,000 for highest bidder.
Kiki, questions?
I think that's great. I think we talked about this and actually in conversation, hoping that there would be some higher and better use for that land and maybe aid some of our local nonprofits. And so it looked like it worked out like it should.
Worked out very nicely, yes, ma'am.
Yep, that's great. Is there, I forget, do we have any buildings or any structures on that land?
No, there's a test well on that site that we originally drilled that gave us the conditions back that were unusable for us. It can be used for irrigation on that site only, not for domestic water though.
Okay, so that'll go with the
Correct.
property, so, okay. Yeah, well, I'd be happy to make a motion to accept the high bid of $40,000 by Habitat for Humanity of North Idaho for property located at 601 West Snyder Avenue and direct staff to complete the sale of the property.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other comments, suggestions? We did okay on that, didn't we?
We did good. It worked out good for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
Good, good. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consent, please. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you coming down from the shop. Next up, one of our all-time favorites, Tim Martin, talking about saving some money again. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Chairman, council members. Today I'm in front of you requesting approval for Poe Asphalt Incorporated as low bidder for our 2018 chip seal project. This is a cooperative agreement that we're working with Hayden and the city of Dalton. We are managing the contract of this. Poe Asphalt was the low bid. Their bid was $966,612, and RPI out of Spokane was $1,014,247. So with that, I'd like to talk about how council has repeatedly affirmed road maintenance as a priority through the budget process over the years. Over $1 million in labor and materials are dedicated each year to road maintenance, overlay, and chip seal programs. This year's chip seal, as you can see, this is kind of tough to read, but it's highlighted kind of in the purple shade. That is the northeast quadrant. That's east of 15th Street. The green there is what we did last year, and the one arterial that we're doing is Kootenai, over there by Kootenai Health on Ironwood. Last year we did Government Way. There's many processes in which we in the city of Coeur d'Alene take care of our roads. You know, we have a maintenance team that is out there about 5.5 months a year, filling potholes, doing main level work on our arterials. In the winter months, of course, you know, we're filling potholes. We're by any means that we have. So with that today, talk about a couple of the projects that we have going, and I'm sorry it's probably hard to see there, but the areas highlighted in the orange, that's Government Way and Celtis Way. Those are our two big projects that we've got going right now. We expect to see those done later this fall. The red areas highlighted again is where our maintenance is focusing on Atlas, Kathleen, Ramsey Road, 4th Street, and Canfield. We'll be doing some overlay work on those internally. Again, the green is what we did last year, and the purple is this year's stuff. So with that, what I'm looking for is council consent to agree to the payment this year for the chip seal process. Our portion of the 966,612.75 is $648,646.70. With that, I'll stand for questions.
I have just a couple questions. Tim, last year, who did Government Way? Was it these guys?
Pardon me?
Did Poe do last
Yes.
year's Government Way? And we talked about there's a certain amount of prep that you guys have to do for,
Yes, the
Chip coat.
process is good. I mean, it's giving the integrity, sealing our system. We as a maintenance are learning that process. I mean, there was some crack seal that should have been done that wasn't, and some of those, you know, things need to improve. But the process, if you look at our residential streets, they're very good. This year we are going to do what they call a double shot on ironwood, which will be a 1/2-inch rock. And then they're going to follow that with a 3/8 rock a week later and then fog seal it. So a lot of that stuff, just we're trying different things just to see what'll hold up the best for us.
for Ironwood. I've been driving it more than I ever have in the past, and I'm trying to picture how you're going to do that because it's just 2 lanes and a left turn lane. Is it, you doing it on the weekends or something when there isn't as many people? Or is
We talked about that, and we actually talked with our biggest partner on there, Kootenai Health, and the hospital actually thought that Fridays were a better day.
Really?
So we didn't have to look at that extra charge for a weekend work, but they said Thursdays and Fridays are their lightest days.
Really?
So we're gonna start early and get in there and get that done.
Looking forward to that. Also, Atlas, are we doing an overlay on Atlas? A chip seal? You had it in red.
No, that's just our maintenance work.
Okay, on the maintenance.
That's
Okay.
our department doing internal maintenance.
Atlas isn't in the near future, is it?
No, there's a few that have rose to the surface. Of course, all of us want to see 15th Street get done. And there's a lot of conversation right now about La Crosse Avenue
Oh, okay.
tying into BB, which will help eliminate some traffic issues when the mill site gets developed.
And great maps. That's real helpful to kind of get the big picture in different colors. Way to go. Dan, any questions?
Well, just comment on the Ironwood. I guess I'm torn between asking, is there any chance for a 1-year reprieve? Because, I mean, that's where I work, right there. And the folks up there, I mean, have gone through a lot of pain, but I suppose it's better to just keep going and get it done versus giving them a break for a year.
I think you'll see it pretty seamless. I mean, we've looked at the traffic control on it. There'll be through traffic moving, you know, of course, when you chip, you only do 1 lane at a time. So traffic will move. You know, we would ultimately love to overlay that road in the future, but right now there's so much construction going on in that site.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
and I
yeah,
see
like I
that.
say, I'm tuned into it because it's, yeah,
Yes.
it's very tough to get through. And then we are up at the corner of Lakewood there and Ironwood and often kind of can't get in or out of our driveway because the cars are backed up. But, so that La Crosse intersection, I mean, is high on my wish list, so.
Sure.
But on this, otherwise, no, I think that all makes sense, so.
I just had, was curious, these maps that we're looking at in the packet didn't match the ones that we were looking at up there. Are those on the website or your street department?
They
so
are
that
not yet until council
Okay,
approves them.
But if
Yes.
folks wanted to see if their street was going to be affected before that work started, they could go there and take a look?
Kim right now is working on the flyers, and we're gonna get those out here real soon.
Okay, and then there'll be a resource to go back and check so they can
Correct.
say this is where they can reroute their daily drive that way. Okay, great. I appreciate you taking a look at some cost-saving measures in the future and keeping an eye on this, so I don't have a problem with anything here.
Thank you.
So I'll look for a motion if there's no other questions.
I would make a motion that council accept the bid of and award the contract to Poe Asphalt for the 2018 chip seal project.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Consent, please. Thanks, Tim, for the maps. Nobody can get lost now. All right, our second most favorite thing around here, the sewer treatment plant, wastewater.
I'm sure glad you
Welcome,
brought up
Mike
that
Becker.
was one of your favorites.
I think it's cool. Especially the compost thing was just the best thing that ever went around here, huh? People still talking about compost. And that's not your department, Mark, but Mike.
Well, good quasi
Yeah.
sunny afternoon, council members. I'm here to talk to you about a change order that we are bringing before the council with regards to our 2018 CIPP project. First, I'd like to go over a few highlights about this spring's project. As you may recall, we discovered a large hole in one of our pipes right outside City Hall here, and felt it was necessary to actually get that taken care of right away. So we adjusted a few of our projects around to accommodate this within our budget. And we're able to get that taken care of before this peak summer use of our fabulous McEwen Park, as well as, with the City Hall remodel. What you're looking at here are some highlights. In red is basically our bypass force main that we placed out on top of the ground. Purple is the pipe that we lined. You'll notice it goes through some of the manholes. We took care of lining those manholes as well. This photo basically shows you how we accomplished that bypass. At the south end of 9th Street, we installed 4 above-ground pumps with the capacity of 8 million gallons a day. They had to pump that volume basically through an 18-inch diameter pipe. That pipe was fuse welded, it was seamless, so we prevented any leaks. There was redundancy up the yin-yang down there. We had double the capacity of the pumps. We had 3 different sets of controls, and then we had it manned 24 hours. Something that I think that the city should be very proud of is that the decibel range, the sound of those pumps operating above ground, is actually quieter than my presentation I'm giving to you right now. I was amazed by that. Here's a CIPP in performance right here at the intersection at 8th and Yonge. There was very minimal excavation that was required to do this CIPP. Like I said earlier, we also coated some of our manholes while we had this bypass pump in operation. This particular operation at this location is what prompted our change order that we're bringing before council. It took 23 hours to take it to the finish line. I got a couple extra days off after that, so I thank both the ratepayers and city council. McEwen Park, we ran that force main across the park there, and surprisingly, we were able to keep all the trails open. The dog park had a special ramp constructed to access. The way they the contractor installed the down pipe inside that manhole created a vacuum, so no escaping odors out of our sewer was detected there. And we also got this done before the Coeur d'Alene Marathon. And that was critical because it's a qualifier for the Boston Marathon, and we cannot reroute that. So the project was completed on May 2nd. So why the change order? Well, on the left, you can see we have the same pipe, the 30-inch M interceptor that has a 3.5-inch wall thickness. On the right was basically how fragile that pipe had gotten through the years. We're at best a half-inch of concrete remaining in that pipe. So we're very fortunate to discover this before we had a collapse in the interceptor line, especially a line that takes % of our city flows. So it was necessary to move forward with this change order because we had to look at this a little differently than our other CIPP process. We had to use liquid to cool it, still heat it up to 240 degrees Fahrenheit. We still pressurize it in order to get the liner to cure. But as you can see, with water versus a vapor pressure, it's more controllable, and we did not bust the pipe. So the change order that we're bringing before council was actually for $3,707, but we have adjusted quantities that brought that change order total to $2,277. What is that, about 0.5% of the total project cost? The reason why we brought this change order to council, the reason why we did not bring this change order to council prior and went ahead and took it upon ourselves to authorize this is that the liquid that we use to cure the CIPP pipe is styrene concentrated liquid. Styrene is a volatile organic compound. It's explosive in nature. It's also a toxin that can potentially be harmful to the bugs at our treatment plant. These are the same bugs that do our treatment for us. So we were able to work with DEQ and the EPA, and we've found an acceptable treatment process. Rather than removing the styrene liquid out on site, which creates an explosive environment, we injected ammonium persulfate. It's a chemical that counteracts and oxidizes that VOC, the volatile organic compound of styrene. So it removes the potential of its concentration for explosiveness as well as its ability to be a toxin to our bugs at the treatment plant. Again, this was accepted by DEQ and the EPA. So we injected it in there, and without this ammonium persulfate, the concentration of styrene was 100 milligrams per liter. We were able to knock it down to 17.5 there on site. By the time it reached the treatment plant, it got down to 2.36. And by the time it exited out the treatment plant, it was almost non-detectable. These numbers were validated through our pretreatment coordinators' grab samples and testing. So we were able to validate that this did work. There was an expense associated with it, and we didn't want to take any more additional time than we needed to get authorization, especially at 0.5%.
Mike, I have a question before you go further. Was that part of the original plan, was to use that particular chemical? Is that just what they used and it didn't work with the big pipe that you had to change it, or is this the normal stuff?
This is a unique situation using fluid in a liquid state versus a vapor state. In the vapor state, the styrene just escapes the atmosphere and it oxidizes almost immediately. There is a slight odor that is detectable, but when it's in a liquid state, it doesn't have anywhere to go. So we were looking at something to get rid of it before it goes downstream. And the normal process is to go ahead and drill a hole in the pipe and release it. Nobody has ever really considered what it does to the treatment plant, especially treatment plants that use biological treatment. So that's an excellent question to be asking. We were fortunate enough that we had our consultant as well as our pre-treatment coordinator saying, hey, wait, time out. We need to revisit this because we're only a mile away before we hit the treatment plant. And our fear was that at 100 milligrams per liter, there was that potential where it could do harm to the treatment plant.
So let me ask you, that when they did my street up on Second Street, did the PI, the liner, not the same process or further away?
No, not the same process. We use the vapor everywhere else in town. The only reason we use the liquid is because our pipe had diminished almost 3 inches in thickness.
Okay.
So we weren't pressurizing it as high in pressure as well as temperature. Liquid fluids are easier to control than vapor.
So it wasn't anticipated to have to use that stuff. Is that what you're saying, pretty much?
We were anticipating using that stuff only as a result. Originally, there's a new technology out that uses light waves,
Okay.
ultraviolet light, to cure the pipe. The nearest place that has used that is Portland, and they did a 6-foot diameter pipe.
Okay.
It's very expensive. We felt that we got a better price going this route, and we created an alt within the bid process. They could have proposed one way or the other. This way came in at a reduced rate.
Geek, you got any questions on that?
Just a quick thing, there weren't any changes to the working days in the contract to do this, right?
No, there wasn't. We didn't allow it. Our goal was to get it done by the 1st of May. They got done by the 2nd of May.
Okay.
It rained pretty hard one day.
Okay. And so then in the provisions of the contract, is there, I'm assuming there is some language in there that allows you to, especially in an extreme circumstance like this, to make this kind of a decision and move forward
Yes,
without. So this isn't really a balancing type change order. This is really just an explanation of why you had to take that step.
correct.
Yeah, perfect. That's all.
Okay, I would just say, yeah, that's a small amount in the scale of the whole project, and to me, it sounds like a good initiative and, watching after what you should be watching after, so sounds good to me.
And I have to mention one other thing. I did get, I don't know about you two, but I got cornered by a couple of people who said, what happened to the park? Why are these pipes across our park? What's going on out there? Literally, thinking that there was some underground issue going on with McEwen Park, and they were very upset about it. I directed them back to the department, or of course Troy as the default, just call Troy, I don't know, but I didn't want to speak out of school. At one of them, Sandy, if you're watching, they were very happy and didn't contact me back, so I appreciate reaching back out to the public and letting them know that nothing was wrong with the park, it's safe for the kids, it's supposed to be happening, it's not an accident, so I appreciated that communication.
Right.
I didn't have any feedback, but maybe they think I'm too intimidating, I don't know.
I never thought of that. All right. Yeah, good job, Mike. This was a great presentation, kind of let people know how we do things. I'm fascinated with this underground chemical thing, and watching out for the sewer treatment plant is real important, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do you have anything else you want to add to that, or do you want us just to move on?
Here's what the pipe looked before and after. So I think the contractor did a really good job. This is before we released the flow, so it is quite impressive what they're able to do out there, and this project, I feel, was successful despite some of the hurdles and long hours that it took to take to the finish line. So
I think it was quite a process watching them put that black pipe together. Like you said, it's seamless, but it's pieces. It's fascinating. Like you said, there was people here all the time for a lot of time, 24 hours and stuff like that.
That's why I thought I'd hope to be your favorite, but okay.
Cheapest
Well, if there's
date
no
we-
other
The park's
questions.
favorite, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll look for a motion then, if you can.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve change order number 1, which looks like it's going to be the only change order to the contract with Institute Forum Technologies LLC for the 2018 Kearton Place Pipe Project, increasing the project by $2,277.
Second.
Moving second, any other questions?
Thank you again. That was
So
really good
want
work.
public to see this, but I think we'll
Yeah.
put it on the consent calendar. All those in favor, sorry, aye.
Aye.
Thank
Consent,
you.
please. Thanks, you guys, appreciate that effort. Well, with that, I'd say we're done, and we thank you. Look for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you next time. Thanks, you guys.
Just in time for the